Our base for the week was the lively village of Jalería de Grande, just 30 minutes from Malaga, for what was to be some of the best off-road riding in the world. We hooked up with the guys from ToroTrail, who would be our guides for the week and supply us with everything we would need for our Spanish adventure. Lyndon gives us all a safety briefing before we head out onto the trails, and with plenty of safety gear in stock, we are soon dressed and ready for action.
My name's Lyndon Foster. I started racing many years ago. I bought a CR250, had a day on the beach, and then entered myself in an AMCA race the following weekend, which was a bit like a rodeo, and had 2 or 3 years on a very steep learning curve with a huge amount of crashes and no real history of success in it. Then had some pretty quick road bikes, R1 and the original Fireblade with a 16-inch front wheel, which really enjoyed. And then quite a few years of just enjoying normal bike riding. And I was sat on the train one day and my cousin sent me a text message saying that the wealthiest guy on the planet is the one that spends the most time doing what he wants to do. We have a complete cross-section of riders. We don't gear the business to any particular sector. For the advanced riders, we run a lot of single track, off-piste, fairly extreme trail riding. The bikes don't really reflect how extreme that we do ride. Our choice of bike is more on reliability and ease of use for every rider rather than specifically at one sector. So for the advanced riders, they get their fix of some of the most extreme riding in the world. Chiari Tianen trains around here, and a client asked him one day, why do you ride here? He said, it's the best place in the world to ride a dirt bike. And so yes, the rewards come from seeing people progress in their own little way, whether it's the first time off-roader and you can see him gain confidence and a better body position and ride a bike, to some of the extreme. We've had some of the world's best riders and showing them great areas and it's just a pleasure to watch.
Before we head out onto the main trails, Lyndon takes us to a less challenging area and tells us the techniques to riding in the Andalusian terrain.
Extreme trail riding, unlike even enduros, means that in certain places we go there might not be a line out, and so descending is very important to control, that you can see what's ahead and that you can make adjustments. It's therefore very important to be able to ride slowly down descent. So what you're going to do is have your weight slightly back on the bike. You're going to touch the rear brake a little bit. Too much rear brake will swing the bike round. It's also linked to the engine via the chain, so you've got a chance of stalling, so we're just going to use that light. A fraction of clutch, but the key to the whole of this operation is using the front brake.
Soon we get a chance to put the techniques into practice, getting a feel for the rocky terrain, but some of the more experienced riders start pushing a little too hard, and too soon it all turns a little bit hairy. Even Lyndon, our guide, showed us how easy it is to get it wrong and find yourself upside down. For former championship enduro rider and promoter Steve Ireland.
Whoa! Whoa! Save it! Oh! Couldn't get my leg over at the top.
You alright, bud? What do you want to do?
I want you to pick me up if there's 2 people.
Just a bit.
Hang on.
I'll tell you what, can you swing your legs round? Just swing your legs to this way.
I can't, no.
Is your back hurting?
No.
No. Okay.
I just want to get up on my feet. So lucky not to broke my neck.
Okay, pal. There we go. 3, 2, 1, you're back in the room.
Well, after being a bit cocky, going up the hill a couple of times, watching the lads fail, and I gave it the big one and went up it. My problem was coming down. Steve Cranshaw was in the way of blocking the hill, and I thought I'll go round him. I ran out of power, started wheel spinning. Failed. Turned to the right, thought Easy, done this for 25 years. Hop the leg over, coast down. No. Leg didn't go over. Ended up running with the bike at about 20 mile an hour, maybe a bit faster. It felt faster. Halfway down the hill, I've decided, enough, straight into the rocks. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't in pain.
Soon it's out onto the trails, and what an eye-opener they are. The riding areas in southern Spain are endless, and it is very, very easy to see why it is fast becoming the place for off-road adventure. Until you see it for yourselves, it is hard to imagine the fantastic array of terrain. I actually felt in awe of the riding potential this trip offered. As a motocrosser with only a little enduro experience, I found some of the terrain a little daunting, but after a few hours you start to feel right at home, and was soon having so much fun I literally couldn't stop myself from smiling. Steep downhills and climbs, tight twisted canyons, we have never experienced such a playground. During a short stop for lunch, we took the opportunity to patch up Steve Island. After a long but enjoyable day, it was back to base to chill out and catch up with the mechanic Dougie.
The bit I enjoy about when the clients come out is when you get the novices, because you get a novice who's come out, he's never really ridden off-road before. Maybe some of them have just passed their test, their motorcycle test, and then they come out here and you can see them, especially if they do maybe a 3-day tour, you can see how much they improve day from day from day, and then by day 3 you can see that they're really buzzing and they're absolutely into it. Whereas day 1, you can sometimes see some of the guys they're a little bit nervous, they're a little bit not too sure, a bit wibbly wobbly. Fast forward, day 3, massive smile, loving it. That's good, that's enjoyable. You know, the local Spanish boys, they've shown us loads of good trails as well, and people that ride horses as well. Some of the people with the horses tell us, oh, there's a lovely little trail down there. So there's loads of different ways for us finding trails, but just getting out, sitting your bum on that and just riding it. The riding here in Spain, it's nothing like the riding in the UK. When you ride a motorcycle in the UK, you're kind of frowned upon. You're looked at as though you're in between a mass murderer and something else that's maybe worse than that. But you are frowned upon, whereas here, the Spanish love people on motorbikes. The Spanish, they like noise and they like cars and bikes, etc. So when you're out on the trails, you can be, honestly, in the middle of nowhere and there'll be some old Spanish guy giving it, do a wheelie, mate, or they'll be giving it that, like, make some noise, Whereas in the UK, it just wouldn't happen. But the riding we have here, it's just, the trails are endless. I mean, this is where the trails start, just here, and then you can nip off down this way, lovely mountains behind us, there's just everything here, absolutely everything, spoiled for choice trail-wise.
As dawn starts to break over the hills, we look forward to another day's riding and catch up with a few of the riders with us.
Yeah, hi, my name's Andrew Reeves. Career so far, I started off doing trials riding when I was 11, progressed to doing some of the British Championship trials, did a couple of seasons of motocross, and then I got into enduro. I do the Erzberg Extreme Enduro event in Austria, some British Championship rounds and some North of England Enduros. I think riders with a trials riding background have a lot of a head start in Extreme Enduro because they're used to the terrain and getting the bike over obstacles that perhaps some former motocross riders or normal Enduro riders can't do. So it gives them a head start on it basically. Yeah, there's different people from different backgrounds coming, like off-road sport and motorcycling in general just brings people together, doesn't it, from everywhere. Like you can have people who are sort of from the top end of the social scale to the bottom end and who ride bikes, they all get together and ride bikes and have a laugh. Yeah, it's so relaxed out here. I mean, you can ride through little villages and down little trails and see people in the middle of nowhere and they're waving at you and they're very friendly and they've not got that sort of same attitude that English people have got to, oh, noise and don't ride on that bit of land and stuff like that. It's just so much more relaxed out here.